All right, today we're going to tear apart the anatomy of a modern scam. We're going way beyond the usual phishing email to really dissect the sophisticated, industrialized playbook that criminals are using right now to steal billions. Let's get into it.
So listen to this. Mom, these bad men have me, help me. Those are the actual terrifying words a mother in Arizona heard over the phone, and it sounded exactly like her 15-year-old daughter totally panicked and crying. But here's the chilling part. It wasn't her. It was a perfect AI-generated clone of her voice used in a fake kidnapping scam cooked up to create pure terror and squeeze out a ransom.
And you know, this threat isn't just personal. That same deepfake tech was used to steal $25 million from a huge global firm. The scammers created an entire full-on video conference call. And on that call was the company's own CFO, except he was a digital puppet, instructing his employees to wire the money. This isn't just some clever one-off heist. It's a sign of a much bigger and highly organized system.
What we're really seeing here isn't just a series of isolated incidents. Nope. It's the industrialization of deception. This has become a highly professional, global criminal economy that uses psychological manipulation on an industrial scale.
And the numbers, they're just staggering. I mean, according to the FBI, the total reported losses from internet crimes hit a whopping $12.5 billion in 2023 alone. For these criminals, this isn't some side hustle, it's a core and incredibly profitable part of their whole operation.
So how does this all kick off? Well, every single scam starts with the bait. The goal is to engineer a crisis, to create this moment of intense panic or urgency, or maybe an opportunity that just seems too good to be true. It's all designed to completely bypass your rational thinking.
A classic example is the old inheritance scam. As you can see in this fraud alert, it starts with a very official-looking letter that just shows up out of the blue. It's from a supposed bank executor telling you about the death of some distant, super-rich relative you never even knew you had. They have no other heirs, and the scammer invites you to pose as the next of kin to claim millions. And what's the bait? The promise of a fortune that would change your life.
But today, the traps have gone digital, and they are seriously clever. They come in all sorts of forms. With SEO poisoning, a scammer's fake customer support number is literally the first thing you see when you search on Google. With email bombing, they'll bury a real security alert from your bank under thousands and thousands of spam messages. Or with these click fix pop-ups, a fake error message tricks you into copying and pasting a command that just hands over control of your computer to them.
So once you've taken the bait, the performance begins. And this is where the scammer really becomes a master of illusion, building this entire false reality to get your complete trust and ultimately your compliance.
This slide breaks down a really fascinating idea called diagnostic theater. So in a tech support scam, the criminal gets you to open up completely legitimate tools on your own computer. They'll point to the event viewer and say, "See all those red errors? That's the virus, right there, destroying your files." But in reality, those are just normal, harmless system notifications. They'll run the tree command, which is just a rapidly scrolling list of your own files, and call it a live hack in progress. It's all just a show, designed to scare you with your own machine.
But the performance is evolving way beyond these simple tricks. The new frontier is generative AI, and that allows scammers to go from just creating the illusion of a problem to creating a completely fake, hyper-realistic reality.
Just 3 seconds. That's it. That's all the audio a scammer needs to find on social media. A little snippet from an Instagram story, a TikTok video, to create a perfect, totally convincing AI voice clone of you or somebody you love.
And the realism can be just terrifyingly convincing. This quote, it's from a finance director who got tricked by a deepfake video call that had his CEO and other executives on it. He ended up authorizing a massive wire transfer because the illusion was absolutely perfect. When the performance is that good, our natural defenses can just completely fall apart.
Now let's move on to the final act, the payout. The entire elaborate setup is all designed for just one thing, to get the money and make it disappear.
The real key to the payout is how the money moves. And as you can see on this chart, scammers have pretty much abandoned traditional banking. That huge purple section shows that 2/3 of scam losses are now paid out in cryptocurrency. Why? Because it's fast and almost impossible to reverse. What's even more alarming is the rise of physical couriers, where they tell victims to go buy gold bars or gather up cash to be picked up by a government agent right from their own front door.
So, to launder all this cash, criminals rely on a human shield,
the money mule. These are people who receive stolen funds into their own accounts and then just forward them on, breaking the financial trail and insulating the masterminds from the police.
And these mules, they tend to fall into three main categories. First, you have the unwitting, who are actually victims themselves, tricked by fake job offers or romance scams. Then there are the witting, who kind of suspect something is wrong but choose to be willfully blind. And finally, you have the complicit. They are active, paid members of the whole criminal operation.
Okay, so now that we've seen their playbook, let's talk about the counter playbook. Because you are not powerless here. There are simple, really effective tactics you can use to defend yourself. First off, you have to listen to the language. Scammers rely on urgency, secrecy, and guarantees. A legitimate business, on the other hand, will talk about risk, they'll be transparent, and they'll encourage you to take your time and talk to an advisor. So if you hear phrases like guaranteed returns or you have to keep this confidential, that's a massive, flashing red flag.
And here is your most powerful tool, a simple three-step plan. First, no matter how urgent it feels, just pause. Hang up the phone, create some distance. Second, verify the request, but through a separate channel. Call your daughter back on the number you've always had for her, or go look up the bank's official support line yourself. Finally, ask a secret question. A prearranged family code word, or even a simple question like, hey, what did we have for dinner last Sunday, will stop an AI clone or an impersonator cold.
And that really brings us to the most important takeaway of all this. While scammers are using some seriously sophisticated technology, our best defense is fundamentally human. It's not a new antivirus program or some fancy firewall. It's informed skepticism. It's the simple act of stopping and verifying.
And all of this leaves us with a really critical question for our time, right? In an era where literally anything can be faked with terrifying precision, the challenge for all of us is to constantly question, to verify, and ultimately to redefine how we prove what's actually real.